excited to be here, as you mentioned. I think Mitch mentioned, I just got here from Calcutta, so LACMA is very special to me. It's an incredible team of people here, and I'm really grateful to be working with all of them. And really excited because we're in the final few days of this exhibition, and I hope all of you have a chance to check it out. It's exquisite. It's been a lot of work to put it together. And what I think is most interesting is that the capstone for this entire exhibition is a musical concert. Fables, as you know, are about stories. And stories are really the way I think culture is most preserved. Yes, there are paintings, yes, there are sculptures, but really it's live art, dance, and in this case, tabla, that I think in some ways really takes you back to Lucknow in a way that nothing else can. Tabla is one of those instruments that is so sophisticated in such a way that on the surface you just can't quite tell. But it's the language behind tabla and that oral tradition that really evolved in Lucknow. Tabla wasn't born in Lucknow, but it evolved there. And that atmosphere, the community, that spirit of music, that's really where tabla had its genesis. And we are lucky tonight to have Pandit Swapan Choudhury, my own guru, my teacher. I've been lucky enough to study with him, and we had this idea that we'd like to really take all of you on a journey back to Lucknow through music. So with that, I'll hand it over to Pandit Swapan Choudhury.
Thank you, Robin, and thank you all of you. Robin is the moderator here tonight. He's my student. So he told me that, Guruji, you know, I will let you know when to stop or when to start. If you play too much, I will cut you off. If you don't play, then I will tell you, play more. So, anyway, so it's very nice and to come over here and play. This is my first time to play in LACMA, and I'm so proud of everybody of LACMA. I mean, they're wonderful people and wonderful place to play Indian music. The journey, I don't know about journey of just playing tabla back to Lucknow, but you can just close your eyes and visualize what will happen. We'll see later on. But I'd like to play it just a little bit, maybe 5-6 minutes, to give you an idea about this kind of Lucknow style of playing tabla. And after that, then Robin will ask me all kinds of questions, and I will answer if I can. And then after that, you know, we'll play again. And then if you have any question, then you can ask me. Thank you. Just give me 2 minutes time to tune it because it's so cold outside. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So with that, we'll start where all things should start, with geography. We are, of course, looking at the world here, and this is where LACMA is. But with tabla, we just had a chance to kind of journey to India. And specifically, where in India? Well, we're talking about Lucknow. We're at the LACMA. I've been having trouble with that this whole time, trying to get that right. But Lucknow is in the northern part of India, of course, and I think this is very important. And maybe, Swapanji, you could talk a little bit about that. It's positioned between New Delhi and Calcutta. What is that, and why is that important to tabla?
It's in the center. It is east of Delhi. If you look at the map, it's east of Delhi. And it's kind of also at the center point between Delhi and Calcutta. But tabla came to Lucknow. It's in 17th century when the two musicians came from Delhi. Before that, everything was in Delhi. But then the Nawab of Oudh, which became later on it became Lucknow. The Nawab of Oudh actually requested his counterpart in Delhi to send some musicians, particularly tabla players.
Wow.
And so these two brothers were sent from Delhi to Lucknow. And because Lucknow was very rich at that time culturally, and that's why it came to Lucknow, not Calcutta.
Right.
Because Calcutta was just a city at that time.
And we know that, 1858, when Lucknow was sacked, essentially, by the British, and from that point on, those musicians, as they had fled from Delhi, they arrived in Lucknow. The British came in and sacked the city in 1858, and then those musicians again fled, and many of them ended up in Calcutta. So this journey that you're talking about kind of started in Delhi and has kind of migrated toward the east.
Right.
So that word hybridity, which I think for those of you who've gone into the exhibition, it comes up over and over again, hybrid culture. Lucknow was a hybrid culture. It was a blending of what was in the old world of the Mughal Empire, which essentially died out, and then kind of migrated towards the new seat of the British Empire, which was Calcutta. So we'll start with this adorable picture. So
I was naughty at that time, you could see. Not now, but at that time.
tell me about this picture. I mean, this is age 6. This is taken where?
This was taken in Calcutta, in our house. I started when I was 5 years old.
Wow.
And so it was the following year. This picture was taken by my father because he was very strict disciplinarian. I don't know why he took this photo, just to show me probably. But that was in Calcutta in 1951.
What were those early musical memories like for you? I mean, you were born into a family that obviously at an early age recognized that you should study tabla. What was that like for you? I mean, at that age, do you remember those days?
I remember I felt like it was a punishment for me. Because you see, I was born in a family, it's a very conservative family. And there, most of my family members, including my dad, my uncle, my brothers, and everybody is medical doctors.
Oh.
So I was born in that family, but I was scared because every night when they used to argue with themselves and regarding any diagnosis or something, and I said, no, that's not my field. But my father at the same time, he was very much interested in music and theater and other stuff, cultural side. He was very much interested. So maybe he wanted to see what he wanted to do in his life, couldn't do it because of the family pressure. So he said that you should play some music. But my family members were against it because we had, joint families in Calcutta. Everybody was against it. Well, no music. You should study. If you do music, then your study will go down and it will be not good for this family. So my father actually argued with them, and then they finally said, okay, in one condition, that if his grade goes down, then no more music or playing tabla. But fortunately, my grade never went down. And so I was playing tabla, but you know what? I even didn't know that I'll be a tabla player and tabla will be my profession. Because I did my master's in economics because of the family pressure too. But when I finished my that time, in 1969, there was one big concert I played with the great maestro who left us 2 years ago, Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab, and I played with him in that concert, and I don't know what happened after that. My name just got spreaded all over, and everybody was asking me, all the top musicians were asking me to play with them. And I started playing with them and got carried away, and I felt good. Oh man, I mean, I'm giving autograph, they're paying me money, I'm staying in a good hotel, it's great. But I wanted to do my doctoral program in economics, which I couldn't, but maybe in my next life I will do that first.
So this picture, 1960, this is you on the right, and your father in the center. Now tell me a little bit about, this is your guru, Santosh
That's
Krishna
my
Viswas.
guru, yes. Acharya Santosh Krishna Viswas. And in the middle is my father, because he always used to watch me what I'm doing, And so, and that's me. This was in 1960, and there was a competition. It was all Bengal competition. It's all over Bengal. And I stood first in that competition. There were probably 200 or 250 candidates, but
All tabla players.
all tabla players,
young tabla players.
young tabla players, yeah. So that was the scene. But my teacher said that, yeah, you stood first, so what? You have to proceed further. I mean, you stood first, they give you a medal. But you have to prove that was not even a gold medal, it's a silver medal. But you think about getting gold medal. So you have to work hard and you have to study more and then prove yourself. I said, okay.
Here's another photograph. You mentioned Maestro Ali Akbar Khan Sahab, who
Yes.
passed away recently. But 1958, and this is Vishwanath Bose, who's the father of Kumar Bose, one of the great tabla players of our generation. Tell me about this moment. You're sitting there, you're on stage, you're observing. What was that feeling like for you?
Well, at that time, I loved music, but I didn't know so much. I was, 12, 13 years old. But Khan Sahab always used to love me very much, like his own kids. And so whenever he used to perform, he used to take me here and then. So this is one of the concerts that he took me. It was in the daytime concert, morning concert. And so he said, okay, you sit next to me. And that's how I was sitting next to him, just listening, Khan Sahab, and also another great tabla player, Vishwanath Bose, who is accompanying Khan Sahab in this photo.
And how would you know that at that age, many years later, you would be accompanying Khan Sahab yourself? I mean, it was beyond your imagination.
Oh, of course. I never thought about that. I told this. Before that, I never thought even that I will be a tabla player. I was studying tabla just for my hobby. You know, it's like a hobby every kids those days have. So the thing about that, at that time when the other question you did, how you felt, I said that I felt like it's a punishment. The reason was that when I was seeing that all my cousins or brothers, sisters, they are all playing outside, and here my father says, here is your clock, 1 hour, practice. And I was scared to my dad. You know, the Indian parents are very pushy. So I had no other opportunity to go outside and play with my friends or my brothers. So I did practice. But thanks to my dad that whatever I am now, I realize now. He just turned 100. That's him.
What a beautiful face.
Yeah, I had to go back to India early this time to have this party, his 100-year party to celebrate. So that's him. But he looks so good now, so loving, but he was a scary person.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your mom also. Now, she also was very musical.
My mom was she was a great singer. I mean, in her time, she was known to everybody. But when she got married and came to our family, the family members said, from now on, you cannot perform outside. You do it at home. And so, you know, it was her sacrifice. But whenever I used to practice, she always used to be, you know, very supportive and gave her a lot of love to me. I miss her.
Well, this is a photograph with your Guruji, and I thought we'd talk a little bit about what that experience was like. You said a little bit about your intensity of practice. Can you maybe tell us like what a typical day might have been like for you for practice? Like you'd wake up, you had to go to school, you balanced your... Can you just talk a little bit about...
Yeah, it's not me. Again, it's my dad made me like that. I used to get up at between 3:30 to 3:45 in the morning. From 4 to 6, 4 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the morning, I used to practice. After that, I used to do my homework for the school, breakfast, go to school. Coming back maybe 3 o'clock, 3:30, and then just a little bit rest and homework. And then my teacher used to come around 7 o'clock, something like that. So 7 to 11 at night, I had to spend time with him.
Every day? Like he came almost every day?
For 19 years straight.
Wow.
7 days a week. Unless I am sick. Sometimes I used to do that, but my father, you know, he was a doctor. He said, no, you are fine.
Wow. So let's actually see a little video of your guru.
This is my guru. When his age was 88 years.
88 years old, and he's,
Yeah.
okay, great. Could we dim the lights just a little bit so that we can see the video? All right, let's take a look at this.
Think about this man was 88 years old, and I don't think I can do that even after 10 years. But he, his first love was tabla. Excuse me. He was a banker. He was not a professional tabla player. He never asked any money from anybody teaching tabla. But his passion was, love was tabla. But he was also very strict with me, on me, but he was very loving. He was not scary like my dad, but he was very loving, but he was very, straight and hardworking man and very, very knowledgeable person. At that time I was young, and I was playing and studying with him, but I was thinking at that time, why he is teaching me so much? What shall I do with this? But we couldn't say anything to our teacher. That's the norm in Indian culture, that he cannot say anything or argue with your parents or your teacher. So I couldn't say anything to him, but I was also not liking it, but I had no choice because my father was there. So one day I think he got the vibe from me and he said, you know what? You are not going to realize now what you are getting, what knowledge I am giving to you. But there will be a time when you will realize what you have. And I do realize now, and I thank him so much. I also miss him because every single moment he used to correct me. No, this is not right. Go this way. Okay, no, you went too far. Come back. So, so I miss him because there is nobody who can guide me now or tell me to do what, do this, do that. So.
Now, we're going to connect this to Lucknow because that's where we're going with all of this lineage. But what's important here is Santosh ji, your Guruji, he studied with Hiru Babu, who we'll talk about in a little while, who's a very critical figure in really keeping that Lucknow spirit alive in Calcutta and onwards. And he studied with the great Lucknow master, Abid Hussein Khan Sahib. We'll get to that in a second. But I just wanted to point that out, that your Guruji studied with Hiru Babu, who was a great Lucknow exponent. He was a banker, and he had very few students. And is this correct? He only taught you for 20 years. He had no other students, really.
That's true.
So he was 100% focused on you.
Because he didn't have time.
Right.
Because he was
coming every day to your home. He loved you, and he was there for you all the time. This is what I thought was really interesting, and you said this, that he had a razor-sharp mind and a photographic memory. So tell me about that. Like, you said he gave you so much knowledge. Like, what was his own approach to learning and absorbing material?
Well, what happened was that when Hiru Babu, which was his guru, was studying with this master from Lucknow, he was the only person who was allowed to be in that room to watch, not to write or not to play on the tabla, just sit there and watch. But this man had a photographic memory, and he was very smart. And so he listened over so many years, and so he grabbed all these compositions and knowledge, and he kept it inside, because I never seen him in my life that he was writing down any composition, or I have never seen him counting. He said, don't count and don't write it down. Use your memory, use your brain, and that's how everything, your knowledge will be there forever. But if you write it down, tomorrow you will forget it.
And actually, you bring up a good point, because this idea of oral tradition, and I mentioned it earlier, oral traditions are extremely resilient. They survive over long periods of time, and that's where culture really is preserved. And so when we think about Lucknow and the music of Lucknow, coming through tabla, for example, there's compositions, and we'll hear some of that recitation a little bit later, but I think you bring up a very good point, that it's about using your mind and having the music inside you, not on a piece of paper, for example.
Because music is actually, it's your expression, whatever your inside is saying. When you are singing, you look at you are singing the same song 4 days, one after another, and you will see that 4 days, every day you're singing, the approach, the emotion is different. Why is that? Because it all comes from your heart, your mind. So that's why, the older generation always used to say that just try to put in your memory, use your mind. But the bad thing what happened in North Indian classical music is that a lot of good compositions, what they did during that time, got lost because nothing was written down. That's definitely a sad thing.
So you mentioned this earlier, and so we'll move on. This is a photograph now. We're going to move into Hiru Babu and who he was. Now, again, here you are on stage between two towering giants in music. Khan Saab on your left.
One is 1958, and this was in 1980 something.
82, yeah, 82 in North Calcutta. So let's talk a little bit about Hiru Babu. Now, here's another image of Hiru Babu accompanying Ravi Shankar. So already you see just through these photographs that this was a tabla player that could play with the greatest of the time.
In those days, in 20s, 30s, 40s, he was in Bengal. He was the only name at that time that he was performing with all the top-notch musicians. In fact, those musicians always used to say that I would like to perform with Hiru Babu, and he was also a very respectable person, because he was, those days, he was Attorney General. But he, at the same time, he was very simple person and a great tabla player, great knowledgeable tabla player.
Let's watch a little video of Hiru Babu. This, again, is extremely rare footage.
Which one is that?
This is from 1987. He's giving a tabla solo. The cycle that he's playing in is Pancham Swari.
15 beats.
15 beats. So it's complicated, it's challenging. Let's watch this. Can we dim the lights again? Okay. Sorry for the quality there, but that is incredible footage. Let's talk a little bit about Hiru Babu. Now, he passed away in 1993. He studied with Abid Hussein Khan Sahab from 1919 to 1936. And as you mentioned, he has served as the attorney of High Court in Kolkata. So your Guruji was a banker. You had a master's in economics, and his guru was a lawyer. So this is, to me, very interesting.
But his guru was a tabla, great,
right.
great
Abid Hussein Khan Sahab was a pure tabla player. So just, I'd love to hear your comments on how do these professions and these outside interests inform tabla playing or your practice, or how do you balance these things? How do great tabla players, how are they able to achieve such things with also achieving great heights in their professions, like outside of tabla? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the thing is that it should be in the family, number one, and number two is the environment too. Those days, Calcutta was very cultural area. Mm-hmm. Every single house, either there will be music going on or theater or whatever, but inside the house, not outside. So everybody was growing up listening music and this and that. And so in his family, everybody was playing either tabla or sarod or singing or sitar. So he was kind of raised in that kind of atmosphere. Mm. And when he started studying with the legendary figure of Lucknow Gharana, Khalifa Abid Hussein Khan Sahab, Abid Hussein Khan Sahab used to stay in Calcutta for 6 months and then 6 months in Lucknow. Mm. So during those 6 months, he used to come every day and teach him because he had some kind of bondage with him. He felt like Hiru Babu was like his son. So he was teaching him, and he was also a very talented and smart man. That's why he became Attorney General and studied tabla with him for 19 years or 20 years, something like that.
So look at this picture of Hiru Babu now as a child.
That's when he was 10 years old. Look at that, the size of the tabla.
Right, compared to what we see now. Explain the difference here. What's
because
going on?
everything is getting shorter nowadays.
Yeah.
You see? So.
And the baya, the drum on your left-hand side, is also much smaller here.
You know those days that they used to put the baya on their lap. Oh. And then the tabla. And the baya, nowadays, you know, it's kind of looking nice. You know, the light's going, it's shiny. It's showman. Actually, the baya used to be made with clay. But the problem was, those days, those poor musicians, they used to carry their own instruments. There was no airplane. Mm. So mostly it's on the train. But nowadays, we fly. There is airplane, and we fly in first class. We cannot fly in economy class now. Right. But this goes underneath the aircraft, right? And so they don't care, they just throw. And it breaks if you have clay baya. So now we have this copper baya. It cannot break, but it get badly hurt, like dent. Hmm.
So you mentioned he played with all the great maestros. Now this is interesting. Baba Alauddin Khan, the father of Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, gave him a nickname, which was Laiki Jadukar, which is, what does that mean exactly?
He was like a magician of making all the different rhythmic pattern because he was very spontaneous. He used to create right on the spot. Wow.
So this is a photograph of 1988 with you sitting with Hiru Babu and your guru.
Think about myself at that time. I look at the way I'm sitting because I was scared. I mean, one side is my guru, right. The other in the center is my dada guru, means guru's guru.
You look scared. What was that room like? Now, this is Hiru Babu's room. Tell me about the energy in that room.
Oh man, that room has so much energy. That's the room where he studied with Abid Hussein Khan sahab. That's the room all the top musicians used to come and perform in that room. It was actually a big room. Nowadays, you can get a room like 10 by 12. But those days, I don't know, it's maybe 40 by 40.
Wow.
Huge room.
So let's take a little bit of a diversion here and just kind of ground this in a little bit of history and how music came to Lucknow. You know, in 7 AD, roughly that period of time, you start seeing waves of the Persian invasions coming in over the Himalayan and kind of the Kush range and through Pakistan, Afghanistan. Then, of course, in the 1500s, you have Akbar the Great, who really establishes his court in Delhi and of course, surrounding area in Agra and Fatehpur Sikri and all that. But that's where Mian Tansen was brought to his court. And so music and a lot of percussion flourished. And then, of course, in 1580, Akbar establishes Awad, who kind of becomes that area becomes really known for dance, along with Pakawaj. So can you talk a little bit now about what you mentioned earlier? From Delhi, you had these two figures, Mian Bakshu Khan and Madhu Khan, who were sent to Lucknow with their tabla, apparently. Can you talk a little bit about that migration and what was it like for them to come from Delhi to Lucknow with tabla, and what was happening in Lucknow with Pakawaj?
Well, when they came to Lucknow from Delhi, their upbringing or their training, whatever they got in tabla, was totally opposite side. When they came to Lucknow, this whole style was very different. Because Lucknow at that time was very much dominated by Pakawaj, the big barrel drum, and also dance, like Kathak dance. But one side is Pakawaj, the other side is, the dance. So when they came from Delhi, their style was very different. It's all playing on kinar, like two-finger style, like, not too heavy phrases. So they got overwhelmed, but they were very smart. So they got kind of connected with the top dancers during that time, and also Pakawaj player, and then they created, they mixed those phrases and created these new phrases. It's like a new language was born at that time.
Could you show us a little bit, just very briefly, we're going to do a little bit more later, but what is that you were talking about, Delhi style, and then this Purab Baj, that is kind of opening it up?
What is Purab Baj? Purab means east. Now, why this is called east or Purab Baj? Because it was east of Delhi.
Right.
So Delhi Baj it is called Band Baj, means closed. What does that mean? Let me show you. It's like, it's all with the two fingers. So the balls or the sound production is very kind of lighter. But with the Pakawaj influence, because the Pakawaj is very open, it's more resonant. So and so this came and they took those kind of composition or those phrase and mixed with the tabla phrase, and then it becomes kind of open like it. More resonant, like this sur, this tone, it sustains, right? Whereas
it's closed off
it's
in
closed.
Delhi style.
Right. So that's how it's called. Purab Baj means that it's open.
And this was
resonant.
really in Lucknow, it evolved in that way.
Right. In fact, Lucknow was the first gharana which came from Delhi, and the second was Ajrara. Ajrara was another state. So from Delhi, it went one side to Ajrara, one side to Punjab, and one side to Lucknow. And then from Lucknow, there was two different styles went. One is Farrukhabad, another state, and Banaras. So that's what, there are 6 gharanas.
So then, of course, 1780, the Lucknow Gharana is really established, and that kind of sets the stage for what we're going to talk about now, which is Abid Hussein Khan Sahab, really a legend in the world of tabla. This is a picture of Hiru Babu on the left, studying with his guru, Abid Hussein Khan Sahab. So tell me about this picture. I mean, what are we looking at here in the hands, the costumes, and this time, 1920 Calcutta?
You know what I'm going to say? Everybody is probably going to the gallery and see all the old photos of that time, the Nawabs and the king. Look at their dress and look at Abid Hussein Khan Sahab's dress. If I wear that kind of dress now, you will tell me, Guruji, are you crazy? But that's the style. But look at the other thing is, look at the size of the tabla and the baya.
Wow. It's so tiny.
So tiny. But those bayas sound, it was so deep and bassy sound, beautiful sound.
So you don't wear these kind of dresses anymore?
Because the weather has been changed, you know. Nowadays. It's
Right.
Global transformation is happening, right?
Absolutely. So Abid Hussein Khan Sahab, 1866 was born, passed away in 1936. He was the Khalifa. Can you talk about that word Khalifa and what does that mean?
Khalifa means that he is the torchbearer of that family. Means the Lucknow Gharana is the family.
Bloodline.
Bloodline.
Right.
So he was the bloodline of that family. So now the bloodline is his grandson's son. Great-grandson is the...
Now this fact is mind-boggling. 18 to 20 hours per day for 16 years. This is multiple sources I looked at, including you, and this has been validated. Can you talk about that? He went into a state of total focus.
Oh, they were lucky. They didn't have to do anything. They didn't have to go to school. They didn't have to study. They didn't have any scary father like me.
Right.
So he did just 18 hours. But he was a very talented person too. He started playing tabla when he was 17. And his brother, older brother, who was kind of getting old and was very worried about him, and said that if you don't, then if I die, then what you will going to do? This whole lineage, this whole gharana will be finished. Then nobody knows why he started at that age, because it was pretty late. But he became a legend.
And then his son-in-law, Wajid Hussain Khan Sahib, was the Khalifa until his death in 1978, and now it was passed on to his son, Afaq Hussain Khan Sahib, who also recently passed away. But let's talk a little bit about, like you said, lineage, because Hiru Babu, your guru, you actually were not bloodline.
We are not in the, we studied in the same school, but we are not bloodline. But they are like Khalifa Wajid Hussain was his bloodline, in the sense that Wajid Hussain was his nephew, come his son-in-law. Abid Hussain didn't have any son. He had only one daughter. And so his nephew was, Wajid Hussain was married to his daughter.
So it's important just that distinction that there is a bloodline and there's also people who come from the outside, but that Lucknow Gharana, that tradition, is there because of the connection to Abid Hussein Khan Sahib.
Right.
So you already gave a little bit of a demonstration, and so I don't know if you would like to talk a little bit of time we have just for a couple of phrases that I'd like for you to kind of maybe share, and then we'll move on. But could you give us a little bit more of a demonstration on kind of how some of the strokes of Lucknow, dere dere, you also have paran, you have gat. Can you talk a little bit about these characteristic compositions and also maybe recite for us a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, there are like nagetete katan, nagetete katan, trakadhet dharan negetetaka. Kititaka kititaka titikata digitha. Ghentran dhadin takat. So like that, you know, there are many, but I'd like to just give you one, just a small example of one beautiful composition what Abid Hussein Khan Sahab composed. You know, the fireworks, when you lighted the fireworks, it goes up in the air and then bursts into flames, and then slowly it comes down. Look at this imagination of these guys during that time that they composed this, and it's his composition from Lucknow school. It says, "Den den na, den den na, den den na, den den na. Takatuna den nagatakatan, takatan, takatan, den kan tun 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 tun." Takatuna den nagatakatan, takatan, takatan, den takan tun 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 tun. Means last tone just hit the ground.
Wow.
Thank you.
And again, that's that pura baj, that open
That's
sound.
yes.
And that was characteristic of the Lucknow style. So this is just a very quick visual review of what we had talked about. And I know, we've gone through a lot of material here. So Abid Hussein Khan Sahab is at the top of this lineage line. On one side, you have Hiru Babu, Santosh Ji, and then you, and then all the disciples who you're teaching now. Now, you also have on the blood side, Wajid Hussein Khan, Afaq Hussein Khan Sahab, who passed away in 1992, or roughly thereabouts, and Ilmas Khan, his son, and then his present disciples. So the line is still continuing on both sides. And I just thought to put that out there so that you can see that.
Well, the line is not only continuing in India, but the line is also going outside India.
That's right.
Look at from Lucknow to Kolkata, then it came to LACMA, and then it goes to Northern California, Aliapur College of Music, and now in CalArts.
Right. Right.
So it's spreading everywhere in Basel, Switzerland,
That's the point of this slide exactly, is that in 1858, the British sacked Lucknow. Those musicians had to flee. Many of them found homes in Calcutta. And then, of course, in 1947, with independence and the need for musicians to find work on their own, maestros like Ali Akbar Khan Sahab came to California, Northern California in 1964, and then Ravi Shankar Ji came to CalArts and actually founded the world music, or the Indian music program in, I think, 1972. So Lucknow, the music of that period is still continuing on. And so I think we're coming to the end here, but I thought I'd show you guys to kind of bring it to the present time. And we're all sitting here in classroom with Swapan Ji here, and this is the beauty of sitting with somebody like him who is such a great teacher, really someone who gives knowledge so openly. And so this little clip, a few short montage kind of clips of Swapan Ji teaching around the world. If we could turn the lights down a little bit.
এখানে নাববি না, এইটা ওইখানে যাবে। দেখ ওইটা ওখানে গেছে, দেখ এটা কোথায় যাবে।
Well, teaching is the thing that keeps this music alive, and so I thought we'd kind of bring it to closure here with a little bit of a focus on what happened in the last 10 or 15 years. Maestro Ali Akbar Khan passed away in 2009. I wanted to show a short clip of you playing. What was it like playing with Khan Sahib over all those years, and towards the end, what was it like?
Well, it's very difficult to answer that question, but I learned a lot because he used to be called as musician's musician. His music was very powerful. It happened to me so many times. You cannot even move your hand. But his music was powerful, but for me, I learned a lot from him, that how to play or accompany when you are playing with him, because each raga, each tala has a different sentiment. It's like all different human beings. And so playing with him, it gave me a lot of knowledge. So he was like my father, like my guru. He was a great man.
We'll end with this short little video to kind of show you what Calcutta is like today. This is all shot just in the last couple weeks before I got here. And I just wanted to show you this. Dim the light. This is inside your home, right?
If God is Saraswati, is the goddess of knowledge.
Namo Namo Vedo Vedantra Vedagni Vidyan Stanakhyam Evacha Eso Sahachandanam Billapatre Pushpanjali Saraswati Namo Namo Namo.
All right. Well, we have time for a few questions. We wanted to open it up to the audience. We don't have a lot of time, but we have a couple of microphones here, so
Just only 5 minutes. We are running short time.
yes, if you could stand up over here really loud or come to the microphone and please give us your question. Thank you.
Don't scare me.
Yeah, and if anybody else would like to come, just come up behind them on there. Yes. Sorry. Could you?
Why are there no women tabla players?
Good question.
Oh, no, that's not true. Actually, we didn't show any women. Women tabla players are doing much better than men tabla players, that's for sure, because they have more patience than, I have to say that. But there are a lot of women tabla players now, even in India and also in America too. I mean, there are a lot of people are studying tabla and they're doing good.
And also, there is a painting that we saw yesterday in the exhibition, and you will see that there were women players in Lucknow. And
During
again,
those times.
the culture there was, it was a different time. It became very closed once those musicians left Lucknow, but there was a time when women were playing tabla. They still are playing tabla.
Okay?
Oh, speak up, sorry, we can't hear you up here. Go ahead.
My question is, when you're playing is it 32-second notes, or I'm not sure what it is, the very fast notes, are you using all 10 fingers, or is it restricted to 7, or 3, or 8, or how is that?
Actually,
I'm interested in
no, I am using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2. So 5 and 2, 7. Thank you.
Namaskar. My question is related to your tabla style and what you have done for the tabla. You have kept the tabla on, the traditional tabla very pure. However, there are a lot of people in the tabla and in the Indian classical music world who have tried fusion. Do you have any comments on traditional versus fusion?
Well, it depends on the musician. Some musicians, they like to keep their tradition and they maintain their originality or the traditional. I mean, it depends on the person too. Some people like to, use it in a different way, but, the fusion thing is still under experiment. It's not been yet, it didn't have any kind of format yet. Everybody is searching. Still, it's like computer, you go to Google and so it's searching. And so sometimes I feel like maybe it's like a confusion we have.
Instead of fusion, it's...
Instead of fusion, so, but I like to, I always love to be the way I was taught by my guru, to be very traditional and maintain that route, because otherwise this tradition will get lost one day. Somebody will have to hold it. That's right.
We'll take one more over here.
Yeah, I'm curious, how did you find your students and how did your guru find you? How does that connection happen?
Well, I think, in our Hindu culture, we always say that the guru and student have some kind of connection from somewhere. And that connection is so strong that that person has to be guru and that person has to be student. But, nowadays, if you are looking for, learning tabla, then you can find your guru. But not everybody can be guru. That guru, that sentence is very heavy duty. I mean, one can be called as teacher, but guru's place is higher than your parents. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. And the guru is everybody. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar means, that's our, in Hindu culture, religion, they say that gurus, but nowadays it's not difficult to find.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll take a short intermission. Please come back. We're going to have a Kathak performance and then a finale featuring Swapan Choudhury in a duet with one of his senior disciples and nephew, Debashish Choudhury. Please come back. Thank you. Well, we're very happy to be back, and this will be the final piece for tonight. We're especially happy to see Swapanji with one of his senior-most disciples, Choudhury, who's been studying with him for quite a long time. He's working very hard tonight. You've seen him in all these different contexts. He's a fantastic tabla player in his own right. So we're happy to have him back. So let's welcome him as well.
last rela we are going to play because we have a little time restriction too. I mean, not restriction, but what I'm saying, everybody will have to go home and, it's getting cold outside. And so the last rela, which is very traditional because of Lucknow Gharana, Lucknow School of Music, this, if I don't play that will be unfinished. So I have to play this. But it's a difficult phrase of this stroke. So we'll play some. This part we are going to play, it's the composition is called Tukra. So both of them are going to play the same composition but back and forth, back and forth. This is the Tukra. Chakradar.
you very much. Thank you very much. And Mr. Lucknow.
Yes, thank you.
I think Robin probably would like to say a few words.
Yes, I'd just like
And,
to.
thank you very much. Good.
Again, we'd like to thank Pandit for being here with us and really share with us the entire spectrum of Lucknow and its music, and specifically through tabla. So thank him one more time, and of course, Choudhury.